Good evening, I'm Ryan Benazzo. Thank you for joining us. COVID-19 case counts continue to soar across the Thunder Bay district. The health unit is reporting its largest single-day count since March 31st. And unfortunately, there's been another COVID-related death. There are 34 new infections today. 29 are in the Thunder Bay area, while 5 come from First Nation communities. 23 of the cases come as a result of close contact, 7 are related to travel outside of northwestern Ontario, and 4 exposure sources are still unknown at this time. 67 people have now died throughout the pandemic. 3 of those deaths have come over the last month. There's 1 new hospitalization to report, meaning there are now 2 people in hospital with the virus. The health unit now has 127 active cases, the most since April 7th. Over in the Northwestern Health Unit, there are 4 new cases. 2 are in the Kenora region. 1 comes from the Sioux Lookout area, and 1 is in the Rainy River District. There are 17 active cases across the NWHU. And there's another COVID-19 case associated with a local school. St. Margaret is now the 10th school with an active case. According to the health unit, the person hasn't been in the school for an extended period of time. This comes as another Catholic elementary school, St. Martin, has had its outbreak declared over. Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Janet DeMille, says schools aren't the only source of community spread. She urges people to be careful about gathering in private homes. She's advising against indoor play dates, saying parents should reduce contacts for their kids.
It really is situations where the virus is spreading among close contacts is largely what we're seeing. Certainly households are a big place where the virus does spread. So one person in the household, because of the level of exposure, can infect a few other people that are in there.
Meanwhile, St. Anne Elementary School will be holding precautionary COVID-19 testing tomorrow, administered by the Health Unit and Superior North EMS. The asymptomatic testing takes place from 10 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. The towns of Rainy River and Fort Frances are closely tied to their neighboring communities across the U.S. border. This week, after Ottawa eased some of its border restrictions, it seemed as though residents would finally be able to reconnect with their American counterparts. But the arrival of the new Omicron variant may have dashed those hopes. Adam Riley explains.
Canadians returning home at land borders no longer need proof of a negative PCR test on trips 72 hours or less. Despite the more relaxed rules, traffic at the 2 border crossings in the Rainy River District didn't appear to increase significantly this week. The move is being welcomed by the mayor of Rainy River, Deb Ewald, who says residents of her community have close ties with neighboring Baudette. Rainy River's downtown core doesn't have much in the wake of large stores or restaurants, and the town lacks many amenities that are readily available less than a kilometer away across the border.
We share a lot of services, for instance, hockey. We have kids from Canada that play on the American side because we don't have enough kids ourselves to have a team. They have a swimming pool, and we use it from the Canadian side a lot. There's a lot of shared stuff back and forth that, of course, for the last 20 months has not been able to take place.
Ewald says she does have concerns regarding the new Omicron variant, which as of Friday is confirmed in 6 cases of COVID-19 in Ontario, and like others will be monitoring the situation. It's a similar case in Fort Frances where very few vehicles were seen crossing to and from International Falls. According to Fort Frances Mayor June Call, many residents are hesitant to cross the border or even travel in general, which has come as a boon to local businesses.
We've got into the habit of actually using our own local businesses, which isn't that great to finally know that that's happening, because there is so much out shopping done in a small community, and not just across the border, but to Thunder Bay and Winnipeg as well. And people, I don't think, are leaving quite as much yet as they were hoping to be able to, because I think a lot of people are still reluctant.
On the evening prior to the restrictions being relaxed, the Northwestern Health Unit released a recommendation for travelers to avoid visiting Minnesota, which borders both Rainy River and Fort Frances, for non-essential reasons. The Medical Officer of Health cited the neighboring state has one of the highest infection rates for COVID-19 in North America. Adam Riley, TBT News.
The Anishinaabe Nation is mourning the loss of artist, educator, and former Deputy Grand Chief Goyce Kekagamic at the age of 73. Born in 1948 in Sandy Lake First Nation, Kekagamic served as Deputy Grand Chief from 1997 to 2006 and again from 2012 to 2015. He was instrumental in helping to establish the Northern Ontario School of Medicine and also helped launch the Embrace Life program. Respected for his artistic talent as well, Kekagamic was the brother-in-law of famed Indigenous artist Norval Morrisseau, and Kekagamic is credited among the first decorated woodland artists, his paintings seen across the country and in Europe. In 2007, Kekagamic was given an honorary doctorate by Lakehead University for his work to improve the lives of Indigenous people. Goyce Kekagamic is survived by his wife Lucy and his children. A recently released report on clean drinking water has officials with Mattawa and Nan concerned. They're worried about the allotted funding to ensure communities can properly operate and maintain water and wastewater systems. But Indigenous Services Minister Patty Hajdu says she's committed to working closely with affected First Nations to help close the financial gap. Kurt Black has the details.
There are currently 34 long-term drinking water advisories in the province, many of which are in the Northwest. The Parliamentary Budget Officer has revealed that while the capital costs to assist these First Nation communities are covered, the allotted spending for operation and maintenance will only secure 2/3 of funding. It's estimated that an additional $138 million would be needed annually to ensure affected areas have the ability to repair and maintain their water and wastewater systems.
We got to try and get the resources to the First Nation, you know. A lot of support goes to design engineers and consultants and, you know, contractors. Resources need to get to the First Nations to operate and maintain these facilities, and you know, we were trying to work and trying to stress that at, you know, Mattawa First Nations.
Derek Fox, the Grand Chief of Nan, released a statement calling on the federal government to better support the operation and maintenance areas of water system installation. Patty Hajdu, the Minister of Indigenous Services, says they're making progress, but there's still plenty of work to do.
I think the expectation is that we get this done together. Obviously, the Government of Canada has a large role to play, and since 2015, when we arrived on the scene and made a focused and concerted effort to lift these boil water advisories and attach dollars to that commitment, we've made progress. But there's still more to do, and I expect that we'll get it done together.
There is more spending, but you know, we need to, you know, develop a transition plan. There's no transition plan for, you know, when you design and build a $11 million water plant that has 4 different chemicals now than, you know, compared to what it used to have with just 1 filter and chlorine.
Hajdu hopes many of the remaining long-term drinking water advisories on reserves will be lifted in the next 12 months, but isn't committing to a new deadline on ending those boil water advisories. Kurt Black, TBT News.
The Thunder Bay Police Service is asking for public help to identify a suspect linked to 2 robberies at the same Circle K store in just over a week. These photos show the suspect of both robberies that took place at the store at 1325 Arthur Street East. Police were first dispatched to the store just before midnight on Monday, November 22nd. Officers learned a male suspect armed with a knife had entered the store and demanded cash before fleeing on foot. Officers were again dispatched to the same Circle K around 5:30 yesterday morning. The suspect is about 5 foot 8 inches tall and wore a black jacket, a black and gray hoodie, a mask, black pants, black boots, and gloves at the time of the latest robbery. Anyone with information is asked to call police or Crime Stoppers. A Southern Ontario man previously ordered not to return to Thunder Bay was arrested in the city yesterday on drug charges. Police found the 24-year-old man from Mississauga at a Lake Street residence after reports of people in an apartment that was supposed to be empty. His charges include possession of cocaine for trafficking purposes, possession of cash obtained by crime, and being unlawfully in a dwelling. The man was first arrested a year ago on assault charges and was ordered to only visit the city to attend court. A local pride group is thrilled at what's being called an historic step for Canada. Conversion therapy is expected to soon be outlawed in the country after the House of Commons unanimously voted to ban the discredited practice on Tuesday. Pride groups have long called for such a ban on the harmful pseudoscience. This bill would make Canada's criminal laws on conversion therapy practices among the most comprehensive in the world. The legislation proposes 4 new criminal code offenses. That's prohibiting someone from being forced to undergo conversion therapy, removing a minor from Canada to subject them to conversion therapy abroad, profiting from conversion therapy, as well as advertising or promoting it. Rainbow Collective of Thunder Bay President Jason Veltri says he didn't see this coming, but is happy with the unanimous approval.
When Parliament works, and that nonpartisan politics is what Canada and Canadians want. We're all too polarized these days. So if we can see our politicians, all 338 of them, actually say yes to something that matters.
The bill will now go to the Senate for a separate vote before it becomes law. Veltri, though, says there's still a lot more work to do on the ground, especially here locally. Some shocking video to show you now from Kenora. It's of a collision between a train and a tractor-trailer unit that fortunately didn't lead to any injuries. An official with Kenora OPP says the incident took place shortly before noon today. A tractor-trailer unit attempting to cross the tracks got hung up. It's unknown if the driver fled the vehicle prior to the collision, but as these images show, it was quite the crash. The OPP says members of CP's own police force are en route to investigate. There's still no word on whether the Transportation Safety Board will conduct an investigation of its own. Scary stuff. A virtual mining conference was held this week, hosted by the Thunder Bay CEDC and the Canadian Trade Expo. The goal was to identify and meet the needs of the 7 mines across the Northwest and connect the region's biggest players under one virtual roof. Alex Flood has the details.
This has worked out very well. It's achieved our objectives.
Mining representatives, manufacturers, and suppliers from around the region tuned in virtually this week to exchange updates and provide information regarding their progress on a number of mining projects in the Northwest. The 3-day event featured technical talks on the mine's advanced exploration projects, workforce development, career planning, as well as a partnership piece with Indigenous associates. John Mason, the project manager of mining services with Thunder Bay's CEDC, says the virtual conference also provided mines the chance to expand their operations.
The notion here is a setup between procurement managers from the mines and the supply and service businesses. They could set up individual 15-minute sessions where they can, in confidence, meet virtually and talk about opportunities around business to either help build or operate their operation. Same with interested workforce. They could go and meet with HR managers, coordinators from the mines, and talk about their career aspirations and see what gaps are out there.
The closest operation to Thunder Bay is Clean Air Metals, a platinum and palladium project 15 minutes north of the city. Clean Air Metals released the results of a preliminary economic assessment, which includes a new standalone milling complex and waste storage facility with mill feed from 2 deposits.
We've got an accomplished management team, and we're well financed, and a social license to explore with written communication protocol with 3 local First Nation communities that are active in the area.
We've got, another 45 people that sat in for your presentation, Jeff. Those are big numbers. We did one of these sessions for the Northeast, and I can tell you that you guys in the Northwest just blew everybody out of the water in the Northeast. So.
Mason says the virtual mining conference exceeded his initial expectations as the event reached viewers on a global scale, and dozens of resumes were sent to mines across the region with interested applicants looking to build on these growing projects. Alex Flood, TBT News.